So the cat is out of the bag. We have another Destiny 2 live stream as foretold, and it was covering more details about the kind of rewards that we would be seeing come into the light and its release. And we got a small little tidbit because we saw a new version of Hung Jury in the last stream, but they kind of put it all out in the open on lots of the rewards we will be seeing come later. So first off, some of the things they showed was the new social space that is going to be coming with Into the Light, of course, which that is kind of based off of 30th anniversary, as they say. And it seems like they took a lot of notes from that, considering when you look at the social space, you see lots of chests in a variety of area. You have your vendor, who is, of course, Shaxx, as told before. Basic Shaxx, no rework or anything on his look for this, but classic Shaxx is best Shaxx. And then going forward as well, you notice that there is, of course, a few different things throughout the room. It did sound like from, according to Bungie, there would be class-specific ones like 30th Anniversary, and a lot of the chests are, of course, unlocked through progress when you complete things in Onslaught. So from that point, they also get on to talk about the armor. The armor is kind of special, which you will kind of see here throughout the scattered footage. It is basically the old Destiny 1 Parade armor, or I say Destiny 1, Destiny 2 Parade armor, which if you don't know what that is, back during vanilla Destiny 1, you actually had a basic armor set for all three classes. When you went through the campaign initially, you got the damaged version that you replaced with different stuff. And the armor itself was also rebranded and reused multiple times during the Solstice of Heroes for the armor glow sets. It is basically the not glowy, not ceremonial version. It is a lot more standard. You'd see it all across the Destiny box art and a lot of vanilla D1 art. So from that point, it is going to forward. Now, when you log into the Light, they also tell you that there will be a kind of power gap jump, which, if you remember back during Season of Plunder, there was the gift from the Thunder Gods that gave you a full armor set, exotic weapon, all of it, which pretty much was up to date. There will be another similar thing where you have a jump that will get new and starting players up to this point. So that is something good for everyone else. Now, speaking of rewards as well, in the social space, you will see a, honestly, Venom-looking symbiote that through basic progression, which they've kind of showed one way because that is maxing out your reputation with Shaxx, but there is another that you have to get, and once you unlock this Venom symbiote, that is basically the Destiny 2 equivalent of the classic Superblack. If you don't know what that is, it is basically a jet black, dark, all black, no other colors shader that was around during Destiny 1 and people have been vying for in Destiny 2, but of course it is technically 6 years late as Superblack should have been there since the start, but nice to finally have it around. Then going into progression as well, our site, the second little Crucible bot, one of Shaxx's main red jacks, will be available as a sort of another bounty bot like Xander from Destiny 1, which will have various weapon quests that will allow you to earn some of the new available weapons coming out with, of course, Into the Light. Which, talking about those weapons real quick, a lot of them are classics, mostly populars, as well as Pinnacle weapons that are returning, some of which still have their Pinnacle perks, if in a reworked or toned down version to not make them completely OP. So the weapons that are included are the Blast Furnace Aggressive Frame Pulse Rifle from Black Armory, Hung Jury again, which just because it is a Destiny favorite, Luna's Howl, reworked a little bit because it is still a 140 but is low recoil, Mountaintop, which is still a micro missile shot but actually is less damaging to the user so you can use it to rocket jump, as well as the Succession. Now you'll notice things like this, there is one or two raid weapons, including Forbearance, and they did actually specify, in case you're wondering, for people like me who are wondering why pick this again, this is a trial method, because obviously there isn't everyone that owns every DLC, not everyone has access to these various raids, so they did open up a few trial-based DLC weapons so that they could earn one without going through the struggle of the raid or having to buy them in case they want more. From that point on, they also show Recluse, of course, Midnight Coup, then LC's Pulse Rifle, and like I said, Forbearance. Then among heavies, there is Edge Transit, Hammerhead, and Falling Guillotine. Now, Falling Guillotine is nifty because it does have another raid perk. It actually has Sword Logic from the Crota's End raid rework. But at the same time, like I said, every weapon that has been brought up is reworked in some aspect. Obviously, some of these are 2 decades of seasons old, so it's only fitting that they did have reworks, all of which are honestly quite meta when you look at some of them. Obviously, Forbearance right there, you see Disruption, Break, and Chain Reaction, very powerful together, and some of the old mods. But then at the same time, all of these weapons will have a origin trait that is unique to these set of weapons. Basically, when you're running a light subclass, Final Blows grant grenade energy, and when you're running a darkness subclass, Final Blows grant melee energy. And on top of that, there is a new perk that is similar to Golden Tricorn, as Bungie put it, and they didn't give us the full name because I think that they're still working on it, but it was like the Last Stand. Basically, you get a damage buff with a kill, and when you gain melee or grenade damage or kills, they give you a stacking damage buff, which is a little longer or a little bit easier to refresh on moments, so there is that. And in case you were wondering, yes, as you can see right there, the Recluse does have things like Master of Arms, and like I mentioned, Mountaintop still is Micro Missile. Everything that has a Pinnacle perk that came back has their Pinnacle perk, but they did mention specifically in terms of Master of Arms, it was toned down. So it is there, but it won't be nearly as powerful as it was before, so Recluse might not be what you remember it, just a fair warning. And as well, just as a note, there is things like Edge Transit, they do recall is basically saying it is the most powerful drum grenade launcher in the game now. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt, because obviously drum grenade launchers are still not really worth it, at least in comparison to rockets and pure damage. But, you know, to be seen, we still got to actually use it in performance to see what it comes out to. But aside from that, like I said, there is, of course, perk refreshes on every other weapon, as well as the unique origin trait, and at least one new perk, aside from everything else. So, coming with this, now, you might notice that some of these weapons do have a live sort of camo. There are limited edition versions of these weapons that come with an ornament, and at the same point, these same limited edition weapons will actually come with 2 choices in each perk column, and in some cases, will actually no, in all cases, will be enhanceable come Final Shape, which is something to keep track of. And just while I mentioned Final Shape, the limited edition versions will not be earnable once Final Shape drops, as the Bungie does called it multiple times. It's kind of a I was there moment. So if you play during the Into the Light moments until Final Shape, you can get access to limited versions that won't be earnable afterwards. But just to specify, the special memento or the shader, or however they did it, won't be available next, or that won't be available after the Final Shape, but the weapons themselves will still be earnable, even though it is, of course, a seasonal redo. So if you still want to earn some of your old favorites back again, you can. It just won't be the special Into the Light anniversary look to it, which is like the Brave set, which is what you can see on Hammerhead right there. And from that point as well, that is pretty much the broad majority of the important stuff. Now, they did pull a tune from, or they did a tune for attunement. Now, let me just say that, because you can actually pick a focused weapon to drop from Onslaught and things like that, where you can attune to basically be like, hey, I would like more Mountaintops than anything else, okay? It's not a guaranteed thing, but you can definitely focus, and once you get all of the weapons you want, you can, of course, swap to various other things. But from that point, another thing they did mention is additional vault space will be coming with the Final Shape, not with Into the Light, with the Final Shape. So if you were concerned about vault space or limited rolls, don't be concerned, you will get more later, you just might have to make more room now. So from that point as well, that, like I said, that is pretty much the broad majority of everything else they tell us in this dev stream. But they did mention teasers for the next dev stream, of course, being that there will be like a Crucible map pack coming in the next one, so keep your eyes for a few other things like that. But on that note, yeah, that is pretty much everything. Just to recap, of course, new weapons, returning Pinnacle weapons, as well as just popular weapons, a additional social space, as well as reward track to earn new things, including the Superblack shader reborn. And then from that point, there will be a power gap jumper so that anyone freshly starting out with Destiny in this day and age can get a handle on things. Now, I recite powerful, not Pinnacle. But from that point, yeah, it's just what weapons are coming out, limited edition time versions, as well as just cool stuff to get to. And I actually forgot about this mentioning weapons. There will be more details regarding an exotic quest coming further. They don't mention anything else specifically. I know I've seen a few people possibly teasing it in their own thumbnails and their own videos. People speculating it is Red Death or something like that. Who knows? They just say exotic weapon quest. They don't say any specifics. I mean, I would hope Red Death is a mission. But to reiterate just one last double back, These weapons will not be craftable, but that's kind of why they brought in attunement as well as enhancements, because while they won't be craftable, they do recommend attuning so you can get exactly everything you want a little bit easier on every gun. They would like people to hunt rolls more as opposed to just getting the 5 red borders and making everything they want. From that point, that is pretty much, like I said, that is the highlights of this week's dev stream, with more coming in the future. Of course, at the same time, on the same day, just next week. With that, my name is TheMadScorpyon. I will see you in the next video.